You don't get the show.
Now, I will say this: the third story that you sent me, that we read, I find really, really funny because just the sheer fact of I had apparently saw earlier this year, coincidentally with the same group, a story that popped up, which was YouPorn officially said like, hey, we're gonna like sit there and support a professional, gaming team and da-da-da. And of course, what ends up happening, boom, they got banned out of their first event, wouldn't let them go in. Which was funny because like when you looked at the team's logo and all that, like it didn't have like any logos from the websites or anything like that. It was a simple, just like a shield with YP on it. That was it.
Yeah.
And not even in the same colors as the website, which is even funnier. But right away when their team got banned, like they got disqualified and they're like, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, no, that it puts a bad image about it. So the fact that their response was like, fine, we're going to support a League of Legends professional team with all girls on it is even funnier because as if they thought, oh, having an all-male team was the problem. Let's put an all-female team together. And now apparently they're not allowed to play in any of the tournaments that League of Legends is running.
Yeah, so Team YP or YouPorn has actually been around for a while, like 2014, I believe.
Yes.
And they've had like a bunch of different teams. They've had like Smash, Dota 2, Counter-Strike, and they've had different players play on different teams. But they've never been able to get into like the big tournaments. Like there was a group that was banned from like Capcom Pro Tour in May because of the name and things like that. And like Randy said, when they made like a League of Legends team, they were able to play on like some of the outside tournaments, but anything like official with League of Legends, they're like, no, because of the rating, they can't have the sponsors and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, not only are they getting attacked though from the company Riot, but you're also having people attack, of course, because of the female thing, because they're saying, oh, these guys are only Platinum and Diamond League. So some people are saying, is it just a gimmick? And, it's kind of sad because is it just because they're a women's team that they're getting asked, are they a gimmick? Or, because you got to ask the other question too, logically, is, YouPorn also trying to use them as almost a shield?
So here's the funny thing though. So I had a good friend of mine that he went to one of these like small tournaments, like the league tournaments when it was like the group of actual like pro gamers that were on their team. And he's like, and it wasn't just like, he thought when they were coming up, it was like, oh, this is just going to be like you said, like the gimmick from them just to get their name out there. And like he watched these guys play and he was like, no, they were good. Like we're really good. And he's like, probably on par with some of the pro teams that you see, playing in these tournaments, to the point where he's pretty sure that like some of the people that were on this team were actually like second strings from some of these other pro teams that like YouPorn just threw a whole bunch of money at them to have them come over to their team. And he was like they're seriously like trying to do this legitimate quote unquote, trying to get a team together and all that. But it's like, like they were saying, is like they're almost like getting stonewalled, because of that. Now, my big thing is guys or girls, doesn't matter. Like I can see that point of view from them. It's like, oh, it's because of the quote unquote branding and blah, 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 okay. But now, like you say, if it's a bunch of these like girls that are platinum and all that, it depends on me. Like, are they legitimate gamers that have this ranking? Are they those like Twitch streamer girls that basically piggyback off of other people that play well and do it? It's a whole like can of worms, as you say, that can be opened up. But for me, like if they're legitimate players or whatever, all right, cool. You know what? Like they want to sit there and get in pro or whatever. If this is their shot, cool. But if it's that whole like this is like YouPorn's playing that long game of like, yeah, we're gonna get these guys in there, and then we're gonna sit there like go crazy. Okay, but you know, it's one of those things. Like if they are legitimately want to put like sponsor a team and blah blah blah, and they get actual players that are really good, you know what? Yeah, what the hell? Let them play. Just they got to come up with something else. Like they got to call them like Team Fruit Loops or something, and just like whatever.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Like, if the name didn't have porn in it, like, what if it was called like, I don't know, Star Window or something? Like, do you think that would matter, or is it just the core of what the company is, and no matter what the name was? Because that's the hardest part, is that it's in the name is porn.
Right. That's the biggest thing.
And even then.
Yeah, and even then, like, you're nicknaming your team YP, and it's like, okay, everybody knows what it is.
Yeah. It's like, man, you can't hide from that shit, man. Everywhere you go, it's like, but what does YP stand for? Like, Yellow Pages? It'd be funny that you do that. You make it look like the Yellow Pages logo as much as possible, and then the Yellow Pages, like, call you up. It's like, hey, man, you copied our shit. And your response is, no one uses the fucking Yellow Pages anymore, bitch.
Bitch, when was the last time you opened up a Yellow Pages? That's right, motherfucker, years ago.
The only fingers doing the walking is in our porno video.
It's like, that's right, you son of a bitch. Tell me, when was the last time you opened up the Yellow Pages? When was it? That's right, motherfucker. I was a kid back then.
I mean, that's the thing. The thing that's kind of sad is that, I mean, I guess you could do a whole show that wouldn't fit in with our show about if it's a bunch of guys that are like Platinum Diamond League, would you even have that question about have they been carried, or is it a gimmick? Because even like when I looked at the main article, and then I looked at like Reddit and a couple of the comments, and you had people saying, oh, I wonder if they were carried by this and that. And it's true. Unfortunately, you do hear about sometimes these girls that are carried to their ranking, but it's like, okay, just because some are, it's like, is that going to be the question asked every time? It's like, why not just see? You know, right. You got to get to the point where it's like, you know what? Why don't we just see? And if they are, then fine. Then you call them a fraud and you move on. But if you start the question beforehand, then the question is, what's wrong with you that you have to question beforehand? Like, let's just see.
That's the big thing. If they're getting carried the moment they get into a game where there's legitimate players playing, they're going to get steamrolled. And you're going to be like, oh, there you go. They got carried. But if they, like, hold their own and they freaking beat these other teams or whatever, then you can't sit there and say, like, oh, you know what? That they were carried and all that. And then that's I mean, we kind of touched on the subject one of the shows I remember where we were talking about the whole Twitch changing their whole rules and all that they basically banned out all those like Twitch streaming girls.
Oh yeah,
the fake gamer girl. Yeah, the Twitch sluts. And it's like, you know what? Like I said back then, is, you know what? If the gamer is a gamer, regardless of age, sex, creed, color, whatever, you enjoy playing, you're good at playing, fine. But like when you like, it's so funny because I've like subscribed to like on my YouTube feed of like this Twitch stream fails, which is hilarious because a lot of them are all these old streams of all these old like Twitch sluts and all these crazy things that they used to do. And it's like, you can't sit there and tell me that you're a legitimate player when you're sitting there wearing a shirt so low cut and bending over the camera so that all you see is cleavage, you know? Whereas when you actually look at streams of women that stream and are gamers and they love playing, and you just see them sitting down playing the game in normal clothing, and they sit there and kick the crap out of whoever they're playing, or they get their butts kicked as well, and it's like a night and day. And it's one of those things. Like, I mean, I know even one of the girls that was there, which it just so happens, I used to play with. If you remember Woody from Red Eye, Mr. Pimp with the limp himself, you know, him and his brother, we used to play League. And one night I remember we were playing and he actually saw, what was her name? I think her name was like Nicole Slaw or whatever. And we're sitting there playing. Jason's dead. He's alt-tabbing or he's watching it on his second screen. And all we hear is, what the fuck is this chick doing? And we're like, what? And he's like, yo, you guys have got to see this. He put a link to her Twitch stream. And she was playing ranked as Sona, which is an extremely difficult, support to play. And I know this because I've tried to play her. And Jason was a phenomenal Sona player. And he's watching this girl play, and he's like, this bitch is getting carried so hard to her gold ranking, and I'm fucking struggling in silver. And we are like, and watching it, and you could just like me, that I suck at League. I will wholeheartedly, you know what? I'll admit it. No way am I ever gonna play League professionally. And I'm watching her play, and I'm like, holy crap, I could play better than her. And it was just like, Jesus. But typical, like, she's sitting there with her, little boobs out and making donations and da-da-da, and you look at some of like the legit guys that stream and all that, and it's like they're starving out there, and they're really good players, and it's just like, man, it's.
I mean, nickels and dimes ain't getting shit.
Yeah, man. Damn.
So I got a solution though for the Team YP. This is what you do. You start your own league, and what you do is you invite all the porn companies, escort services, and you put them all together, and you have your own group. Could you imagine the ratings though? Like, you get them all together, you call it like, I don't know, the nude league. It's kind of like the what
butt cup. We're gonna go the butt cup. Just a trophy of an ass. The butt cup.
That'd be great, man. It's just to bring them all together. Pornhub, you porn and all them guys, just bring them all together. And just everyone have their own team, escort services and everything. And they all compete against each other in different games and stream it. And you can have porn in the corner going on while you watch it.
And dude, that would be a great idea, because they would have the money to put together a league.
Oh,
I mean, because dude, they would do that crap. They would have, like, in the boxing matches, they could have adult stars come out and hold down the fucking cards with who's going up the next round.
You could even have the Twitch sluts fight each other. So you could have the worst players in the world that just show. And not only, look, it could be a rating system. Not only will you play each other, like, it'll be like the people that suck versus people that suck, but you also vote on how much cleavage and how good they look.
Or even better, no, even better. You have the losers bracket be a strip off. Whichever team loses, they're gonna start stripping, and then you do that. You invite.
It's like, how distracted are you by how bad they play, by how good they look? So you're like, oh my god, this person plays so bad, but damn, she hot. And then you keep voting for, and it's like, but she lost. Be like, yeah, but she looks so good. I donated most of my college fund to her, so she wins. See, that's what we do here on the show. We solve problems.
We need to trademark all this shit, so that way when they fucking do it, you get a cut of the money.
We're gonna get our management team together. We're gonna do this. All right. Look,
if Ignacio had the idea of your topic of last year of the girls playing games while having sex, and he didn't patent it, look at all that opportunity he missed out on.
I know, man. We gotta get this together.